Hey everyone, welcome back to At the Coffee Table podcast. I am Jason Klink and this is episode 76. And don't mind my new background, I'm giving it a try, but I'm here with Joyce Petras of Body By JBae, and we're doing our what's now an annual New Year's Day podcast episode to talk about healthy routines and habits versus resolutions. So Joyce, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you being here on this holiday.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. It's just another Saturday to me, you know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just another Saturday. So I brought Joyce in because she trains, mostly women around the world, a couple of guys here and there with her fitness and nutrition program. And she has a real deep knowledge of what goes into building these healthy routines and healthy habits. And so one of the initial questions I wanted to ask you is what kind of different trends might you be seeing here going from 2021 into 2022, given, the current environment, because that has escalated quickly. So what kind of trends have you noticed going into this new year?
Well, the main ongoing trend I think that I've noticed within the past 2 years, ever since COVID first started happening, was online virtual training and coaching. Including myself. I decided to do online training and coaching literally 2 months before the pandemic happened. And now, since there are a lot of people that are still skeptical about going to public places, especially sweating and working out,
Right.
I've noticed that there's been a lot more online trainers and coaches that are available. So people have more access to them wherever they are currently. They can do it inside their own home.
Yeah, and that's funny you mentioned that because what was it? Well, 19 going into 20, I decided to just invest in the Beachbody on demand just to avoid having, and to me, it wasn't even the pandemic issue or the pending one. It was more about time and consolidating, being able to get a workout in 45 minutes and not have to worry about traveling 20 minutes to the gym, changing, working out, changing 20 minutes to wherever.
Exactly.
So that's where I picked that up. And the other thing I thought about was we did a roundtable podcast the other day, and Alexis Tierney was talking about her martial arts and how that's evolved, and really she went through with her martial arts school, went through majority of 2020 virtual until they could get outside and work out outside. And I can see how with the current environment, you don't want anybody breathing on you. So, and from what I remember from the gyms is, you'd go there at 4:30 in the afternoon and the place would be mobbed, and you gotta beg to get to the machine just to get a rep in and move on.
Exactly. Yeah, I've also noticed, because you mentioned that you started building kind of your own home gym. Home gyms have become more popular. Fitness programs that require minimal equipment, or shorter workout sessions like high intensity interval training for busy individuals, because it seems that time is of the essence always.
Yes.
And I feel that as the years go on, we continue to be limited on time. I think that has to do with priorities and time management, but that's another story.
Yep, 100%.
But yeah, fitness programs that require minimal equipment, so individuals don't have to be inside of a gym setting and have to drive 10-15 minutes there, 10-15 minutes back, be there for 1 to 2 hours, take a shower, and so forth. It is a quite big chunk of time. And I've also noticed that you don't need the gym. I mean, I'm proof. I just started recently going back to the gym again, so I can't knock the gym. I do love the gym. It's a great space to move your body, but you don't need the gym. You don't need fancy equipment to get into the best shape of your life. I'm proof. I did it for 7 years. It's more so being consistent and adhering to your program that it doesn't matter where you're at. You can get the body you want wherever.
Yeah, for sure. Because, it can be as simple as just starting about, I'm sure you'll agree, just go out for a walk. The winter so far here in central New York's been pretty mild and calm. Now I'm going to jinx it. We're going to get pummeled with snow for the next month.
We will. Come February.
But, take 20 minutes and go out and go for a walk and start there. I have found that, that just moving and starting is where, and then as you slowly see things improve and slowly start seeing the results, the more addictive it becomes. And there's worse things to be addicted to,
Exactly.
just to keep going.
To make it routine and make it part of a habit.
And that's a great segue. So, building, and we talked about this last year, was, resolutions are negotiable. And resolutions, a lot of people say, yep, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm going to work out every day. And then by March, it's, well, I'll work out every other day. And, I'm just not feeling it anymore.
Right.
To where if you build the healthy routines that create those healthy habits, you really start creating that momentum to continue on with your programs.
No, I agree. I was actually just thinking right before we came on here of like what a good saying or motto could be for all my clients and athletes moving into this new year is to make routines, not resolutions.
Yes.
Because it seems that we tend to give ourselves some unrealistic expectations when it comes to resolutions.
Right.
And we set ourselves up for disaster before we've actually even really started or began.
Yeah, for sure. One of the more interesting things I've heard recently was, people that say, I'm going to read a book a week. And, I'm going to read a book a day, whatever that is. And it was a coaching influencer, and he was saying, great, read your book a week or book a day. He goes, how about you read one book for the year and apply what you learned?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
because I feel that, well, as you know, kind of retouching back to last year's New Year's podcast, waiting for January or Monday is a red flag that you have unrealistic expectations for about your life and motivation. Yep. It's as though in January you'll have all this free time and there won't be any food temptations at every store and social event.
Right.
A different calendar date is not going to create the ability to make a different diet decision in the face of competing interests like time, convenience, and taste.
Yep.
That all of a sudden you'll be able to have this unwavering motivation to achieve diet perfection forever. And that's not the case. That's not going to happen on New Year's. And you know what? I bet you that most of the resolutioners for New Year's aren't even starting until Monday. They're too hungover today.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually had made a piece of content the other day that said, start right now. You made your plans for 2022. Start right now. Start on a Wednesday, or why are you waiting until Monday? Because you think it's all of a sudden this great epiphany.
Exactly. And the thing is, you're gonna deviate no matter what. Most people have a hiccup in any 3-week stretch, regardless of the time of year. So start today. Start 2 days before Monday and get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And see if the resolution will stick that much longer. Because the reality is there's no diet or fitness perfection or success. The only success is the result of recommitting to your habits and your practices each and every single day. Yep. Even when you're busy, even when you don't want to do it, especially when you don't want to do it.
Yep. Yeah, we've identified that time's an issue, commitment's an issue, or a challenge. We won't call them an issue, we'll call them challenge. Is there any other significant challenges that you've been able to identify with your clients that's kind of a hurdle for them to overcome?
Usually time.
Yeah.
But typically it's not that they don't have the time, it's just that they're not managing it efficiently.
Right.
And having a routine will help solidify that and make it easier to incorporate if you have a routine. Routines are key.
Yeah.
Because we're all creatures of habit, and routines offer a way to promote health and wellness through structure and organization. And having a routine can greatly improve not just your physical, but your mental health as well.
And that's interesting because we were talking about the other day, managing time, but realistically, we all have the same 24 hours, and you only need to sleep 6, 7, or 8 hours of that. And then if you work 8 hours a day, or right now you're at 14 hours, and maybe you travel back and forth, so that's another hour. So that's 15 hours of your day. What are you doing with the other 9 hours? And you can't bend time. Yeah, right. Netflix.
Yes.
and you can't, we all have the same seconds, hours, and minutes in every day, and you can't bend that. So it's managed. One of the better things I've heard in the last year was managing yourself
Yeah.
each and every day to be able to maximize those hours that each of us all have the same amount of.
Yes, I agree. I find that many people who don't have any type of routine suffer from stress. They have the constant worry of, when will I get it all done?
Right.
Poor sleep, because without a daily routine at work or at home, you might find yourself playing catch up with yesterday's to-do list.
Right.
Poor eating. Unhealthy diets like eating lots of fast food become the norm if there isn't time, like scheduled grocery shopping, meal prepping, and planning.
Yep.
Quick, unhealthy substitutes become the next best food option.
Yes.
And not to mention poor physical condition, because working out usually requires some advanced planning. If you don't have that time blocked off in your planner, then chances are you're not going to make the time to do it.
Right. Go back to the sleep thing, because I think that's a challenge for a lot of people. And we were just talking about this last night during New Year's Eve, was getting the right amount of sleep or being able to sleep. What are the best forms of advice that you give for people that say, I have a tough time sleeping. What should I do before bed? That kind of stuff.
So a couple things, because I actually have a hard time sleeping too, but it's something that I've dealt with since I was a little girl. And it's hereditary. Like, my dad has a hard time sleeping. And so I think I just inherited it from him. But a couple things you can do is don't fall asleep with the television on. Don't fall asleep watching movies or a TV show, because the lights on there, your brain's going to think that it's still light out, and it's going to keep you awake and keep you active. So shut off all electronics if you can an hour before you go to sleep. You can try to read a book. You can try to meditate, take a bath, do some deep breathing like pranayama practices just for a couple of minutes to help kind of settle your nervous system down, get ready for rest and recovery. I really like to use guided meditations, because it helps me get my mind off of my mind, essentially.
Right. Shut off the brain.
I tend to think of everything that I did throughout the day, or everything I need to do the following day when it's time to go to sleep. So when I put on a meditation and they're telling me to just pay attention to my breath or focus on something, it's easier for me to unwind and get away from all of my nervous thoughts that are inside my head. Right.
Yeah, no, that, a lot of that is, it's tough when your brain doesn't shut off. But it's also,
I think it has to do with mental. It's a lot mental, because I'm tired. I don't want to go to sleep.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that a lot of it too is that if you're, drinking before you go to bed, or you're eating a big meal before you go to bed, and then your body's got to process all that, and it'll take the first 3 or 4 hours of your sleep to process all that. You're not doing yourself any justice by doing it that way.
No, not at all. I know sleep sometimes, like sleepy time tea works for me as well. I know melatonin is a common sleep aid. It doesn't work for me, and but I do know that it works for others.
That's my friend.
Yeah.
I wish I discovered melatonin like 15 years ago, because that would have been a game changer for me when I was working shift work, because that was hard sometimes of trying to, like, it's not normal to work all night. And for the people that do it, some people adapt to it really, really well. And other people it didn't matter if I got 3 hours of sleep or 13 hours of sleep. I was always tired. Because it wasn't good sleep. Your body wants to be awake when the sun's up, not when the sun's down. So that's a challenge. One of the other things I was thinking of too is, on the flip side, the people that say, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to start my workout program and everything's great. But they get a month into it or 3 weeks into it, and now 5 a.m. isn't so attractive anymore, because now you get that Wednesday hump day drag, and you're exhausted and you just don't want to do it. What's your advice to pushing through that, to get through those, just because you're trying to create that habit? So you're starting the routine, but you're trying to create the habit now, but the routine's getting difficult because 5 a.m. isn't all that attractive anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, motivation, if that's what they were initially relying on, which is what people tend to do starting out, it's fleeting and it comes just as fast as it leaves us.
Right.
So recommitting to your intention and your bulletproof reason why it is why you're implementing this change and you're incorporating it into your daily routine will far exceed any bullshit excuse that your brain is telling you. Because in fact, it's not you that doesn't feel that way and doesn't want to do it. It's your brain. Because our brain essentially just keeps us safe and
Yes.
is always wants routine, just like
Yep.
everything else in our body. We crave routine, and when we shake our routine up and do something new, it's unknown to us. It's unknown to our brain. Our brain doesn't know how to respond or how to react because it's not something we've ever implemented before. So most of the time, it's your brain that's telling you those things that are saying, "Oh, maybe you should not work out tomorrow morning. Oh, you're kind of tired, even though you just slept 8 hours."
Yep. Yep.
It's cold. It's still dark out. You can do it later on. You can do it tomorrow. Yeah,
Right.
later on never comes. Neither does tomorrow. So always recommitting back to your reason why will help push far past all of the bullshit excuses that your brain is telling you.
I
I
love
know
that.
that my reason why is always my motivation is what makes me get up each and every single day, because I'm going to be real with you. I tell it to my clients and my athletes too. I'm one of the most unmotivated people I know. Believe it or not.
Nice.
I really am. It is a struggle for me to get out of bed most mornings, and I don't want to do shit. But my reason why far exceeds me laying in bed all day, because what is that going to do for me? It's going to make me feel like shit even worse.
Yeah.
But
Right.
getting up and pushing myself, pushing my body, incorporating
Yep.
movement, and incorporating all of my habits and practices that I implement each day to make myself the most strongest, healthiest, and happiest version of myself will make me feel way better than sitting in that bed will.
And if anybody's never seen Joyce's social content, once she gets going, she's a freaking Energizer bunny, and just goes into this beast mode that's on a whole different level. So and it's funny that you, I mean, so the reason why is very that was the part of that I absolutely love, because the reason why, and this is how I work with personal development coaching, life coaching clients, is tell them, identify your vision and what your why is and why you're doing whatever you're doing. And that really plays into your own health and wellness. Because without having that kind of motivation to understand what the why is, like you said, you'll come up. I remember, and I think I've told you this before, I couldn't fathom working out at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. I didn't want to do that. That was impossible. I've heard people say that, and my own wife said it before. I can't work out at 5 or 6 in the morning. But getting till 3 in the afternoon, when you finally get to working out, I would talk myself out of it every single time, and I'll just do it tomorrow. To where now, once you get past the hump of that early morning go, like you said, once you get, you remember why you're doing it, and you start tapping into it, and you just do it. It really makes a huge difference. And so if anybody out there that sits there and says, I can't possibly work out at 6 in the morning, well, you can, you're just choosing not to.
Exactly. Whether you
Yep.
think you can or you think you can't, you're always right. Our mindsets hold more power than we think we realize. And if we say that we can't do something, then we won't do it.
Right.
We won't
Yeah.
do it
100%.
until we tell ourselves that we can and we will.
Yeah.
Which you can
Yeah.
and you
100%.
will.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Have you seen any just ridiculous fads that people are trying to for weight loss or nutrition? Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, in comparison to any other year, I mean, I feel like different teas and fat burners are always like the
Okay.
biggest fad. They
Yep.
just come up with new and different supplements each year, but essentially they're the same thing. And they do more harm to our bodies than they do good. They're not sustainable, they're addictive, and they
Right.
can warp our metabolism. They can slow it down and
Okay.
kind of make us gain weight than it is to lose weight, which is kind of counterintuitive to why you're buying and purchasing the product in the first place. And they're just quick fixes, and it's not nothing that once you take it, then what?
Yeah.
You're going to either have to take that for the rest of your life, or you're going to actually have to implement lifestyle change and do some work. And when it comes down to sustainable progress, you have to do work. You have to
Oh, right.
implement
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. There's no easy way to do it. Is there
Products and supplements won't do it for you.
Are there certain supplements that you do recommend though?
Well, it depends on the person and the individual. I don't particularly suggest any one supplement to anybody, because everybody's different. It all depends on your diet and if you lack any vitamins or nutrients. Like for me, for example, I'm plant-based, so I don't eat a ton of meat. So I ensure my protein uptake by having protein powder. I have a protein shake every day, which is what I told you I was going to bring today,
Cheers.
which I did.
I just got done with a run this morning, so I had to feed myself somehow.
I do protein powder. I do pre-workout. It's my go-go juice in the morning. Helps me get up, get pumped, ready for my workout. But neither of those things are things that you need to or have to have. There are many supplements out there that are just optional. Supplements are only going to help your like body and physique goals 5 to 10% at most. And that is if you're consistently taking them and consistently putting in the work in the gym. But there is no one supplement that is absolutely needed. And I know that there is a lot of times I'll have clients ask me if there is a multivitamin that they need to take. Again, depends on your diet. If you are eating a diet full of whole, minimally processed foods, chances are you're not deficient in any vitamins. But that's typically not the case for people in America, as many are on the Western diet where you are going to be deficient in vitamins like fiber. And maybe a multivitamin would be helpful or useful for you, but I would never suggest it until after you got a blood panel from the doctor and they could check your levels.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And I've heard research of that before, talking about having optimal levels of, minerals and vitamins and stuff like that. And in the Northeast, in the North, during this time of year, we're so deficient in vitamin D because we have no sun. So trying to take those healthy routes and supply your body with what you need, not just garbage, I think that's where a lot of people kind of falter a bit, because they're not identifying exactly what they need and just kind of putting whatever in their system.
Yeah. And a lot of like vitamins and even like prebiotics and probiotics, I'm not super big on, because one, they're not FDA approved and they can put anything in there. And I've read too many books about research projects going on about how they would test what was inside the bottles of the vitamins, and like 80% of the vitamins that they tested, it wasn't the actual ingredients that they listed on the label themselves.
Yeah, go figure.
And also, as far as like vitamins and minerals and prebiotics and probiotics, it's best to get it from the source itself, which is from food. Your body's not going to metabolize the vitamin or the prebiotic, probiotic as efficiently as it would the actual whole food source.
Oh, that's good to know. You just taught me something then, because and just to be honest, I mean, I take a vitamin pack every day. I buy it just because I'm trying to, we'll call it prolonged death, but keep myself young. And so, I take that every day just to make sure, because my diet's not the best it could be. So that's interesting. You just taught me a thing or two, so that's good to know.
Good.
Outstanding. So I guess we'll wrap with, what's your best bit of advice going into 2022?
As far as like maintaining mental, physical wellness.
Yep.
Well, in regards to that and trying to start or formulate a new routine, stick with the basics and master the fundamentals through repetition. That's going to be key. You are what you continually and repeatedly do. So make your habits healthy ones instead of unhealthy ones. A lot of times people will go into the new year wanting to go really hard in fitness and shocking their body with a different workout each and every single day, not even being on a structured fitness program or regimen. And that's not going to help. You want to prioritize form and progressive overload. You want to try to gradually implement change by incorporating small habits and practices each and every day, like waking up an hour earlier to get in your workout, drinking half of your body weight in ounces of water. Start small, and then once you get a couple habits and practices down pat and consistent after a couple weeks, start implementing more. You don't need to do a 180 in one day.
Right.
We tend to be in a rush when it comes to weight loss and body goals, but what's the rush? What are we rushing for?
Yeah. Seriously, it's like, and I think that globally, it's just the environment and the society we've created, because we want all that instant gratification and we want it now, and so it's go hard and go fast right now. And I can see where that would frustrate people just to quit because it's not working, because they're not getting that instant gratification right now.
Yeah, and those people have to realize that it's taken them however many months, years maybe, to get to the place that they're currently in their physique. It's going to take a little bit of time to undo all of that as well. It's not going to happen in a week, a month. It might not even happen in a year. This stuff takes time. A lot of times people will go in with a new diet and they'll start restricting themselves, putting themselves on like a low carb diet or having a 1,200 calorie diet. And the thing is, restriction never leads to long-term adherence. Prioritize fueling your body for performance and treat yourself with moderation. And if you have a hard time doing that, you can talk to me, because I am the best at incorporating and embodying balance. I will treat myself. And that's the only way to sustain whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to make your goal long-term, you need to treat yourself with moderation. You need to incorporate balance in fitness and in your diet in order to sustain it long-term. It doesn't have to be complicated or difficult to maintain. And if it is, you should stop doing it right now. It just needs to be consistent. You just need to be consistent is all.
And throwing tacos here and there, right?
Tacos, yes. Definitely. You know me and tacos. Tacos should be my middle name.
Right. There's your future business adventure.
Yes, maybe. You never know.
Taco stand. Well, Joyce, I thank you for joining me today. Your information's just fantastic as always, and hopefully we've helped a few people out there kind of base their new year around some good, solid, educated information. So, and I always ask you this: what's the best way for people to connect with you if they wanted to, use your services or even just pick your brain?
Yeah, you can find me both on Instagram and on Facebook. At Body by JBae. You can also find me on my website for my coaching and training programs at www.bodybyjbae.com.
That's awesome. And you guys don't hesitate to reach out. If you need me to connect you with Joyce, I'd be happy to. So, you can drop a comment on this podcast or send us a DM and that we'd be happy. And there's no feed for this podcast. So share it the only fee is to share it with everyone. So share it with everyone that you might think would get any value out of it. Again, Joyce, thank you very much. I wish you a happy new year, much success going into this new year with your fitness coaching and nutrition coaching. You're one of the bigger success stories that I tell everybody about, because you went from zero to, helping hundreds of people across the world. So that's pretty awesome. And I commend you on all that.
Thank you.
All right, guys. With that, this is episode 76 of At the Coffee Table Podcast. I thank you for watching, if you're watching it live or watching it later, and let us know what you think. And with that, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have a great day.